Hey guys, Brian Davis here from Spark Rental. Happy Tuesday, or whenever it is that you guys are joining us. And for this podcast recording, we're going live here, of course, over Facebook, over YouTube, but of course we release it as a podcast as well. So welcome. You guys are stuck with just me today because Denny is under the weather. So hope Denny feels better soon. Last week, she and I talked all about whether you should buy the dip as a real estate investor. This week, we're switching gears. We're talking about infinite returns in real estate investing, which is an expression that not everyone is familiar with. So we want to change that. We want to shed a little light on this shadowy topic that a lot of people are not familiar with. So as you guys join us, let us know where you're tuning in from and fire questions away at me here. That's what this is all about. It's a two-way dialogue, not a diatribe or a monologue from me. So with that underway, with that said, let's launch in here and start talking about infinite returns. First and foremost, what are infinite returns? This happens if you invest money in something and then you get all of that money back, but you still retain ownership of the investment. So you keep earning returns from the investment even though you have $0. You have none of your own money actually invested anymore in it. Every dollar that you earn as a return from that point on, it's gravy, right? It's money that you're earning on $0 invested. So you invest $0, and every return you get, or every dollar you get of return after that is an infinite percentage return on zero, right? So how do you actually earn infinite returns in real estate? You guys are probably familiar with the classic strategy, the BRRRR strategy: buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. And we will put a link to an article and an infographic about exactly how that works if you're not familiar with it in the comments here. But this all works through leverage, right? This works because you can go out and borrow money against real estate. Which is a lot harder to do with stocks, for example, or bonds. You can do it, but it's a lot easier to do with real estate. So in the BRRRR example, you go out, you buy a fixer-upper, you renovate it, you rent it out, and then when you go to refinance it, the lender bases the value, the loan amount for the value of the property, on the new after repair value. So you force equity by renovating the property, and then you can refinance it based on that new property value with the renovations calculated in, the new after repair value. So you can then pull out all of the money that you put in yourself, your down payment, your closing costs. So you walk away with a new mortgage loan that covers all of your cash investment, and of course refinances your purchase mortgage. Which was probably a hard money loan, right? Because it's a fixer-upper. So you have $0 now invested in that property, but you still own the property and you still collect cash flow month in, month out, indefinitely, even as the property keeps appreciating over time. So you start building more equity in the property, and your cash flow improves over time because you get to keep raising rents, right? You get to keep earning better and better returns as time goes by with that property, even though $0 of your own money is tied up in that property. Now, the BRRRR strategy, as awesome as it is, and I used it when I first started investing in real estate. This was my go-to strategy. I love it, but it takes a lot of labor on your part, right? You have to go out and find good deals on fixer-uppers. Then you have to go out and actually fix those fixer-uppers up. You have to actually renovate them and work with the contractors and pull permits. And then you have to find tenants, and you have to refinance and work with lenders and property managers. So this is a ton of money, or I'm sorry, a ton of time and effort. And even though you can get your money back by refinancing, you can't get that time and effort back. That is sunk into the property. Those labor costs, if you will. So the alternative model here for earning infinite returns on real estate is to go out and passively invest in real estate syndications. Now, what are real estate syndications? If you're not familiar with that term, this is basically a way to fractionally invest in commercial properties, usually multifamily properties like apartment complexes. So we'll put a link to an explanation of exactly how syndications work, how to invest in them, how to find them in the comments here as well, and of course in the show notes. But these are completely passive investments. All you have to do is write a check or send money by wire or ACH, whatever, and you buy in as a fractional owner in this big apartment complex. And from there, you get to collect cash flow on it while you own it, and then you get a big paycheck at the end when the property sells. But where do the infinite returns come in here? How does that work? So let's go through an example here because it works very similarly to the BRRRR model. So you buy into a real estate syndication deal. This is a value add deal. This is the expression they use in the industry, which basically means it's a glorified flip, right? It's a fixer-upper apartment complex or some other type of real estate like a mobile home park or a self-storage facility, but it needs work. So the sponsor, the syndicator, goes in, buys this property. They renovate all the units. They renovate the common areas over the course of a year or two. It takes a long time to renovate a big apartment complex. They stabilize all the rents at the new higher rent rates, earning a lot more cash flow on the property. So the value of the property is much higher now. So then they go out and they refinance the property, and they return the capital investments from people like you and me, the passive investors in this deal. So let's say you invest $5,000 in a real estate syndication deal. And if that sounds low to you, if you're used to thinking that you can only invest in real estate syndications with $50,000 or $100,000, you clearly have not heard of our co-investing club, because this is what we do. We pool funds together to invest in these kinds of deals. Anyway, that's an aside, and we'll talk more about that later. But you invest $5,000 in one of these value add real estate syndication deals. Over the course of 2 years, the syndicator fixes up the property, they renovate it, they stabilize the rents, they refinance it, and then they return all of your $5,000 investment back to you. And you get to keep your ownership percentage in that property, though. That's the kicker, right? So even though you got your initial investment back, you still are a fractional owner in this property. You get to still keep collecting those distributions from the rental cash flow on this property. And then let's say they hold it for another 3, 4, 5 years. The property keeps appreciating in value. They keep raising rents. And then eventually they sell the property and you get a big paycheck when it ends. And every dollar that you earn after they paid you back your $5,000 initial investment when they refinanced, every dollar from then on out, infinite returns. It's all gravy for you. You already got your money back. You were able to then go out and reinvest that money elsewhere, by the way, in, say, another one of these deals. So you get to keep snowballing your money over and over, keep reinvesting the same money in different deals, and keep building that passive income and keep building that equity in these properties. It's an amazing way to build wealth, build passive income. Now, here is the caveat and the cold splash of water from reality, is that in these real estate syndication deals, it's very rare for you to get all of your investment back when the sponsor refinances. That's unusual. Normally, you get somewhere in the range of 50 to 75% of your investment back when they refinance. In most cases, sponsors can't refinance to get back all of the money that people put into these deals. So you normally don't get all of your money back in these real estate syndication deals that pursue infinite returns. But you get back half, 2/3, maybe even 3/4 of your investment. You get to go redeploy that elsewhere, reinvest it into other deals, and you, of course, continue earning money on your investment. You retain your ownership in that property. You get cash flow distributions, and then it sells a few years later, and you get a big paycheck then. So that's how it works. At that point, if you don't get 100% of your investment back when it refinances, it's not technically infinite returns. It's just a much higher cash on equity at that point. But it's still a great model for investing. You get to go out and invest some money, get most of it back after the property refinances, and then go out and reinvest it elsewhere and keep building that snowball, keep hurling that snowball down the mountain until it becomes an average. So I did mention our co-investing club. I put a link to that in the comments here in the show notes. We go out and every month we find these sorts of deals. It's not always deals that plan on refinancing. Sometimes they're just straight deals where as soon as the property is finished being renovated and the rents are stabilized, they sell. But nothing wrong with that either. Getting back your money quickly or relatively quickly. So if you're interested in that, in pooling funds together with other investors to invest in these sorts of passive real estate syndication deals, check out the Co-Investing Club. If you're interested in the BRRRR method and going out and buying rental properties yourself and then renovating them, refinancing, check out that article. It gives you a step-by-step breakdown of exactly how that works. And on that note, I'm going to wrap things up for today. Not a super complicated or involved episode. Try to keep these short and sweet, but hopefully you got some ideas here today that you were not familiar with and have some new ideas for investing. So on that note, we will catch you on the flip side. Stay in touch through our Facebook page, through YouTube. Shoot me an email if you want, brian@sparkrental.com. And we'd love to hear what you want to learn more about next. All right, guys, have a good one.